Ever feel like you're just swimming in information, but you can't quite grasp what it all means?
Yeah, like having all the puzzle pieces, but they just won't fit together.
Exactly. That's a huge problem for so many companies, big organizations today. And it's what we try to tackle here on the deep dive. We cut through that noise.
We dive deep into the sources, pull out the key stuff. Think of us as your navigators, maybe.
Haha, navigators. I
Okay.
like that. Today, we're navigating Palantir Technologies, a really fascinating company working right where big data, AI, and, well, national security and big business all collide.
Mm-hmm. And our analysis is fresh, right up to May 7th, 2025. We've really dug into what they're about.
So our mission, if you will, for this deep dive, let's really get a handle on what Palantir actually is. What
You,
makes them tick? Why are they so well talked about?
right. We want to go beyond just the headlines, uncover some of those maybe novel insights about their impact.
And we get it. You want to understand this stuff, get knowledgeable, but without getting totally bogged down in jargon.
Yeah, exactly. So we've laid it out to be hopefully pretty engaging, pretty clear. Hit the main points so you walk away feeling like you really get Palantir.
Okay, let's dive in. Palantir, even the name,
Mm.
it's is a certain ring to it. Where did they even start?
Well, it's a pretty cool origin story, actually. It connects right back to the PayPal mafia.
Ah, right. Thiel, Musk, Levchin, that whole crew.
Exactly. Back in the early PayPal days, they were pioneers in fighting online fraud, which, if you think about it, was about finding these tiny, almost invisible signals of bad stuff happening in huge streams of transaction data.
Spotting patterns.
Spotting patterns, precisely. And Peter Thiel, who was central to PayPal, he had this big idea after 9/11. He thought, what if we could apply those same pattern-finding techniques, that same sort of analytical power, not just to bank fraud, but to national security, to finding threats?
So taking that fraud detection mindset and aiming it at intelligence challenges, that's quite a leap.
It is. And it reflects a certain kind of maybe libertarian-leaning idea that you can achieve effective security through really targeted intelligence, not just, broad surveillance.
Interesting angle. And Thiel wasn't the only one. Who else was involved early on?
No, he brought together a really interesting group. Alex Karp, who's the CEO now, he's got a doctorate in philosophy, not your typical tech CEO background at all.
Definitely not. Adds a different flavor.
Right. Then you have people like Joe Lonsdale, Stephen Cohen, Nathan Gettings, all key figures in those early days. A mix of engineering and, well, Karp's philosophical perspective.
And the name Palantir, you mentioned it has a ring to it. Where does that come from?
Ah, yeah, it's a direct reference to the Lord of the Rings.
The Seeing Stones.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
Palantir. These stones that let you see things far away, gain clarity, understand complex situations. It was, a pretty bold statement about their mission, bringing clarity from complexity, from massive amounts of data.
Fits perfectly. Okay, so they have the vision, the team, the cool name, but turning that into a real company, especially one dealing with sensitive government stuff. How did they get the traction?
That's the next really crucial piece. In 2004, they landed this pivotal early investment from In-Q-Tel.
In Quito.
Yeah.
That's the CIA's venture capital arm, right?
That's the one. And this wasn't just about the money, although obviously that helped. It gave them instant credibility within the intelligence world. It opened doors.
Wow. So the CIA connection was there right from the start.
Pretty much. And it led directly to the CIA becoming their first major client in 2005. That kind of endorsement, it really shapes where a company goes.
No kidding. The
Yeah.
CIA is customer number one. That sets a very specific course.
Mm.
So starting with that intense focus on government intelligence, how did Palantir grow and change over the years? It wasn't just spy agencies forever, right?
No, definitely not. You can kind of see their evolution in distinct phases. That first period, say 2003 to 2008, that was all about incubation. Building what became Palantir Gotham, though, back then, it was just called Palantir.
Gotham, okay.
Yeah, Gotham was built for the government intelligence world, FBI, NSA, DoD, Homeland Security, you name it. Its whole purpose was integrating and analyzing all these different messy intelligence data sets. Think like connecting the dots on a massive scale for analysts.
So the core tech was really forged in that high-stakes government environment.
Absolutely. Then, maybe 2009 to 2013, you see them start to branch out. Their first big commercial client was JP Morgan Chase.
Ah, back to fraud detection in a way.
Exactly. Using Palantir to fight financial fraud. That showed the tech wasn't just for spies and soldiers. And they got some public recognition too. VP Biden mentioned them. Plus, there were reports, pretty widespread, about their software being involved in the bin Laden raid in 2011.
Really showing its real-world impact.
For sure. And this era also really highlighted their forward deployed engineers, or FDEs. These were like super smart engineers Palantir would embed directly with the client.
Right there on site.
Right there, tailoring the software, understanding the specific problems, making sure it actually worked for them. That hands-on approach was key.
I can see how that would build deep relationships and deep understanding of client needs.
Totally. Then the next phase, maybe 2013 to 2019, this is where Palantir Foundry comes in.
Foundry. Okay, so Gotham for government. Foundry is for.
Foundry was designed as the operating system for commercial enterprise data. Think big corporations, large civilian government agencies too. The goal was to break down data silos within these huge organizations.
The bane of every large company's existence.
Tell me about it. Foundry aimed to be the central hub, and during this time, Palantir's valuation really started to climb. They also launched Palantir Apollo in 2016. Now, Apollo is super important, we'll come back to it, but basically it lets them deploy their software anywhere consistently. This whole period saw a definite push towards making their offerings more like standardized products, less bespoke consulting.
Got it. More scalable.
Exactly. And that brings us pretty much up to date, 2020 to now May 2025. Lots happened here.
Like going public.
Yep. Headquarters moved to Denver, went public via a direct listing in 2020, not a traditional IPO. They got heavily involved in the COVID-19 response efforts globally, using their data analysis skills.
That must have been intense.
No doubt. Big financial milestone, too. They hit DAP profitability in 2023. That's a big deal for a company like them. Shows underlying business health according to standard accounting rules.
Always a good sign for investors.
And then the massive focus recently has been on their artificial intelligence platform, AIP. Launched it, seen rapid uptake. They're running these AIP boot camps to get clients using it quickly and still landing major government deals like the Army's Titan program.
So constantly evolving, adding new layers like AI onto that core data capability. It's quite the journey.
It really is. And alongside the technology, they've built this very distinct corporate culture.
Yeah, you hear things. What's the vibe like?
Well, it's definitely shaped by the founders. Very mission-driven. People seem intensely focused on the goals. They attract really sharp analytical minds. There's also this kind of contrarian streak, positioning themselves as different from the typical Silicon Valley scene.
The anti-Silicon Valley tech company, almost.
Sort of, yeah. Especially on things like consumer data privacy versus their focus on institutional data. There's also historically been an element of secrecy and intensity, probably comes from the early Intel work, huge emphasis on engineering talent. And now you see this powerful alumni network, the Palantir Mafia, as some call it.
Like the PayPal mafia before them. Creates a whole ecosystem.
Exactly. It feels like a company that knows exactly what it is and what it wants to achieve.
Okay, so that's the history, the culture. Let's get into the tech itself, the tools in their arsenal. You mentioned several platforms. Can you break those down for us? What's the core philosophy?
Right, the tech. Before we hit the specific platforms, there's this foundational idea, their ontological approach to data.
Ontology. Sounds academic. What does it mean in practice?
Think of it like creating a dynamic, super detailed map of a client's world, but with data. It doesn't just list things, people, places, events, equipment, transactions. It defines what they are, their properties, and crucially, how they all relate to each other.
So it's not just raw data, it's data with context and meaning built in.
Precisely. It's about creating a rich semantic representation. This is absolutely fundamental for fusing different data sources together, for understanding the context, and it's the bedrock for making their AI work effectively. It turns data into a kind of digital twin of the organization's reality.
Okay, that makes sense. Building a meaningful model of the world from data. How does that play out in the main platforms? Let's start with Gotham again.
Okay, Palantir Gotham. Its stated purpose is clear: serve government agencies. Defense, intelligence, law enforcement, homeland security. It's built to help them integrate, manage, analyze, and visualize huge, messy data sets to spot threats, understand situations, and make critical decisions.
Who uses it day to day?
You're talking analysts, investigators, intel officers, military planners, people who need to sift through complexity to find answers.
And its key features. What makes it powerful?
Well, number one is that heterogeneous data integration, pulling data from anywhere. Then there's the analysis driven by that ontology we just talked about, visualizing connections using graph analysis, looking at data on maps and timelines, advanced search, secure ways for teams to collaborate, really granular security controls, and audit trails knowing who did what when.
Crucial for that kind of sensitive work.
Absolutely, and strategically. Gotham is what built Palantir's reputation. It gave them their initial credibility and, frankly, financial stability. It's the foundation stone.
Got it. Gotham, the government foundation. Then you mentioned Palantir Foundry for the commercial side. How does that differ?
Foundry's mission is to be the central operating system for data in the commercial world and also for large civilian government groups. The goal is to smash those data silos you find everywhere in big companies.
So everyone can see the same picture.
Ideally, yes.
Right.
It enables analysis across the whole organization, helps drive operational decisions, lets them build AI applications on their data, and basically powers their whole digital transformation effort.
Who's the typical user for Foundry?
It's a broader range. Data scientists, engineers, business analysts, operations managers, even executives who need dashboards and high-level views.
And its capabilities. Similar to Gotham in some ways.
There's overlap in the core ideas, but tailored for enterprise needs. So yes, comprehensive data integration, but specifically from things like ERP systems, CRM systems, supply chain logs, sensor data, all the stuff businesses run on. It builds an enterprise-wide ontology, provides a unified place for analysis. A key thing is enabling operational applications with write-back.
Write-back, meaning?
Meaning you don't just analyze, you can take action based on the analysis right there in the platform. Maybe adjust a production schedule, flag a customer account, reroute a shipment. It connects insight to action. Plus, collaboration tools, managing AI models, strong security and governance, of course.
So Foundry is about bringing that integrated data power to streamline business operations and decision.
Exactly. It's their big push into the commercial sector, trying to become that essential data backbone for large enterprises.
Up, Gotham, Foundry. Now, Palantir Apollo, you said this one was more foundational, maybe less visible.
Yeah, Apollo is critical, but it works mostly behind the scenes. Think of it as the engine that delivers and manages all of Palantir's software, Gotham, Foundry, AIP as a service. Its whole job is to make sure that software runs smoothly, securely, and consistently, no matter where the client needs it.
No matter where, like what kinds of environments.
Literally anywhere. Public cloud, private cloud, the client's own data centers, even completely disconnected, air-gapped networks for highly sensitive stuff, or out on devices at the edge, like on a ship or a factory floor.
Wow, okay, that's some serious flexibility. So who uses Apollo?
Primarily, it's Palantir's own internal teams who use it to manage the software deployments for their customers, but the benefit is entirely for the customer. They always have the latest secure version managed seamlessly. And interestingly, Palantir is starting to offer Apollo as a product itself now.
So other companies could use Apollo to manage their own software.
That seems to be the direction. Its core features are things like managing the whole fleet of software centrally, automating updates, being environment agnostic, layered security, defining data governance through software rules, ensuring resilience. It's designed for complex, critical deployments.
And its strategic importance, you called it a differentiator.
Hugely important. It's a massive technical advantage, a real moat. It's what allows them to handle demanding government work, operate in sovereign clouds where data residency is key, and it's the underpinning for this whole idea of operational sovereignty.
Okay, that term again, we'll definitely circle back. Apollo, the delivery engine for everything, everywhere. That leaves Palantir AIP, the artificial intelligence platform. This one's newer, getting a lot of attention.
It really is. AIP is Palantir's answer to the generative AI revolution, the LLMs, all that. Its purpose is to let organizations use these powerful AI models safely and ethically on their own private data, which is often stuck in silos.
So bringing ChatGPT-like capabilities, but securely, onto a company's internal information.
Kind of, yeah. But it's more than just chatbots. The intended users are basically any Palantir customer, government, or commercial who wants to leverage AI. Key features. It integrates deeply with the Foundry and Gotham ontologies. That's crucial. The AI understands the context of the data. It's designed to work with various LLMs, not locked into one. Big focus on secure AI ops, data privacy, and AI ethics, building in rules, keeping humans in the loop, tracking decisions.
That ethical part seems critical, especially with powerful AI.
Absolutely essential. It also provides AI co-pilots to help users, tools to manage AI workflows, and because of Apollo, it can even run AI models out at the tactical edge. The focus is very much on action-oriented AI, not just analysis.
Making AI operational, not just experimental.
That's the goal. Strategically, AIP is their main weapon in the AI arms race, focusing on secure, operational AI that leverages that unique data foundation they build for clients.
It really sounds like these platforms aren't just separate tools, but a tightly woven system.
That's exactly it. The real magic, or the core value proposition, comes from that synergy. Foundry and Gotham build the rich, connected data foundation. AIP layers intelligence onto that foundation. And Apollo delivers and manages the whole thing securely wherever it needs to be. That integration is the product in many ways.
And that integration, you said, leads to this concept of operational sovereignty.
Yeah.
Let's unpack that. It sounds significant. What do you mean by that thesis?
Okay, operational sovereignty. We see this as a novel way to understand Palantir's ultimate value proposition. It's the ability, we're seeing them try to give organizations the power to achieve really comprehensive control and the ability to take intelligent action across their entire digital and operational world.
Control and intelligent action.
Yeah.
Regardless of the specific tech.
Exactly. Regardless of whether their systems are in the cloud or on-prem, regardless of which specific AI model is flavor of the month, it's about giving them fundamental self-determination over their digital destiny, their operations.
How would you break that down? What are the components of this sovereignty?
We kind of see four pillars. First, truly understanding their environment through that integrated, contextualized data. Second, being able to decide effectively based on that understanding, often with AI assistance. Third, having the tools to act on those decisions, closing the loop back into the real world via those write-back capabilities. And fourth, maintaining fundamental control and self-determination over the whole process, the data, the software, the rules of engagement.
And you mentioned a triad of Palantir's capabilities enables this.
Precisely. It comes back to those core strengths. One, Apollo's environment-agnostic software management. That gives control over where the capability lives. Two, the ontologically grounded data platforms Foundry, Gotham, AIP, that's the control plane for understanding and acting intelligently on the data's meaning. And three, their deep human-machine partnership model, the FDEs, the focus on adoption, ensuring the technology actually empowers people effectively and responsibly.
So operational sovereignty isn't just about the tech. It's about the tech plus the method plus the control over deployment.
That's how we see it. It's the combination that creates this potential for profound operational control and intelligence.
What are the bigger picture implications then?
Okay.
If Palantir is aiming to deliver this, what does it mean?
Well, if this thesis holds, Palantir isn't just selling software licenses. Their strategic endgame is to be the indispensable foundational partner for any organization, government, or commercial that needs that absolute highest degree of control, intelligence, and resilience in its operations.
That creates a pretty powerful competitive position.
A very strong moat, potentially. It helps justify their high-touch, often high-cost engagements, but it also puts a huge ethical spotlight on them, right? Enabling that level of power demands immense responsibility, both from Palantir and their clients.
Absolutely. They're not just providing tools, they're enabling a fundamentally different way for organizations to operate with potentially massive consequences.
That's a great way to put it. It shifts the conversation from just features and functions to, well, the fundamental structure of institutional power and capability in the digital age.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly illuminating, a real deep dive. Just to quickly recap for everyone listening, we've traced Palantir's path from its PayPal mafia roots and early CIA backing through its evolution.
We've broken down their key tech platforms, Gotham for government, Foundry for enterprise, the crucial Apollo for delivery, and the cutting-edge AIP for operational AI, all built on that core ontological data approach.
And we've explored this really thought-provoking thesis of operational sovereignty as potentially their ultimate strategic goal and value proposition.
And throughout, it's clear Palantir is, well, a significant and often controversial force. They're undeniably shaping how major institutions see their world and carry out their missions, especially now in this age of ubiquitous data and powerful AI.
So to leave you with something to chew on, building on this idea of operational sovereignty, what happens when more organizations gain this level of deep integrated control over their data and actions? What are the potential upsides, but also the potential risks, not just for those organizations, but for society as a whole?
How does this kind of capability change the balance of power, the nature of governance, the future of how industries operate? It really pushes us to think about that critical balance between powerful technology and its wise, responsible use.
Definitely questions worth pondering long after this deep dive ends.
Indeed. Lots to think about.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of Palantir. We hope you found it valuable. Keep thinking, keep questioning.